What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Awesemo.com, filling in for Adam Scherer as he's in New Orleans for the DraftKings final. We're going to be talking DraftKings NBA tournament plays here. But first, PrizePicks. That's the spot you need to go sign up and play. They're the sponsor of this segment. If you haven't had an opportunity yet, go use promo code Awesemo. You get $100 first match deposit bonus. Plus, you'll get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Every single sport we offer behind the paywall when you sign up, deposit, and play over there. Take advantage of that promotion now. But on to the tournament plays here. I've got 3 guys that are kind of isolated here. Well, let's talk through the Jokic and Embiid situation, because that's going to be my first one right out of the gate. Jokic is going to be the clear priority for me over Joel Embiid. And I know Embiid has been ridiculous since this addition of James Harden. 2.27 DraftKings points per minute in 127 minutes alongside each other. I'm going to call that unsustainable. But Jokic, we're looking at this Denver injury report where you have Zeke Naji questionable, Jeff Green questionable, and there's one more, Bones Highland questionable. But the guy who matters the most there, Will Barton. We're going to be paying close attention to this news now and then after lock. All of those guys are questionable coming into this one. And he jumps up to Jokic, a 1.92 DraftKings points per minute player with Barton off the floor in 601 minutes. That's a much larger sample size than what we have with Harden and Embiid. I'm more willing to trust that. So at exact comparable ownership, we're looking at maybe a 4 or 5% difference in terms of their ownership here. You kind of want to make a clear stand if you're making more than one lineup, or even if you are making one lineup, I'm going to side with Jokic. But 1.67 DraftKings points per minute for the season for Joel Embiid. I think with Harden, that's eventually going to come back to around that for the norm, not this 2.27 ridiculousness we've had of late here, although it's been fun to watch. I just think Jokic, 1.82 on the entire season as well in terms of fantasy points per minute. I'm willing to trust that more. Last 3 games, 75 plus DraftKings points performances in the absence of Barton. I'm just seeing this as an absolute smash for him. So if you're asking the Jokic at 11-2 or Embiid at 10-8 question, clearly going to be Jokic for me. Now, we just got a little bit of clarity right before I started this video. All of these Denver Nuggets came through that they are officially going to be questionable. Bones Highland, Will Barton, Jeff Green, Zeke Naji. Those are the guys that we're paying attention to. And obviously there's going to be some value to be had if all of those guys end up out. But I want to be paying attention to Barton, not just for Jokic, because I'm going to be playing him regardless, but Bones Highland should be the easier one of the 2 to land on just because he's 3,700. That's $100 more than J. Michael Green and Austin Rivers, who, pending this news, the timing of it is going to matter so much. But you're going to be able to get 2 more Bones Highland in the event that he's in and Will Barton's out. But if Will Barton is in, he is on an island at 5,900, and that makes him a leading candidate to be the most underowned play on this entire slate should he suit up, and his availability is unknown until after the tip of this Brooklyn-Philadelphia game. So be paying attention to the news, but the boom bust tool currently gives him an 11.2% leverage score, so the chance of his optimal rate compared to what his optimal appearance rate is going to be. I absolutely love getting to that. It's just slightly higher than Jordan Poole, who I also love for what it's worth, although I'm just covering 3 guys and can't go really outside of that. But Barton, really clearly at this shooting guard only spot on DraftKings, going to be a guy that you need to have some kind of a plan set up. But Jordan Poole, at least there's him. He's 5,200. But if you're playing lineups that have Poole already in them, that's going to be a very, very difficult swap to not leave $1,000+ on the table in the event that Will Barton is out and that news comes out after the lock of that game. So be paying close attention to it. It's a messy situation. It was messy to just even talk about, but it's one of those things on a 2-game slate you have to be factoring in. And lastly, my tournament play of the day, and it is super uncomfortable to say out loud, but it's Tobias Harris. He's $6,300, and it is mind-boggling to me how bad he's been from a fantasy perspective here since Harden's arrival. 0.91 DraftKings points per minute with Harden and Embiid on the floor together, which is going to be the norm for Tobias Harris quite a bit going forward. His season average is closer to a fantasy point per minute rate. He's not playing with the ball in his hands, obviously, because James Harden is out there creating for this entire team. But he hasn't had a game in the 5 that they've appeared alongside each other, him and Harden, that's had over a 22.2% usage rate. That is a little bit worrisome. But something tells me that he's going to be more of the beneficiary than Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey's price is just out of control because of a couple of crazy upside games he's had alongside Harden in the early going. Been a little bit more tough sledding the last 2 for Maxey, but I do believe that Tobias Harris will end up the number 3 scorer on this team with a larger sample size. So I'm just thinking he's more of the catch and shoot guy. I want to try to be investing now. It's only a 2-game slate. So 6,300 on a 4, 5, 6-game slate would not be nearly as appealing here, but there's just too much positive leverage on him in the boom bust tool. He's being overpriced for his role, no doubt about it, but it's a 2-game slate, and I'm willing to inherit a lot of that risk. Let me know below what you thought of those 3 guys that I'm looking at. Of course, Jokic, the priority over Embiid for me. Barton, paying close attention to that news, and tournament play of the day, Tobias Harris. Man, this hurts to say out loud. Best of luck to us all. Sign up over at PrizePicks. Take advantage of that promotion. I'm Eric Lindquist. We'll see you on the Live Before Lock show.